Hey, welcome in, everyone. Lacy and I are back in office, and we're probably the most colorful that we've ever been. So if you don't know what we mean, you'll have to hop over to our YouTube video to come check us out because we just happen to be this way. We didn't even coordinate. We didn't talk about what we'd be wearing.
So funny. So I do find that the more time you spend with a person, you start to just, you're synced, I guess you would say. So when I showed up in this brand new shirt that I got when I was in Bismarck and you showed up in that's kind of funny.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, one of the things that Lacy and I were just talking about, what's going on in the world right now. And I mean, there's always something going on. But in particular right now, I'll let Lacy get into it and then we'll take the conversation from there.
Yeah, so this podcast episode was actually sparked by one of our team members, Noemi. Her and I were just really visiting yesterday while we were working on something together. And she started talking about how the stock markets have gone down and there's some chatter of some folks won't be able to recover from it because of their age and, what stage of life they're in. And so it just got me thinking, markets are under pressure right now, and it's due to things that are out of all of our control. And so how does that apply to infinite banking? And at what level of concern do us infinite bankers have in a moment like this or a time like this?
I think no matter what your financial philosophy is, right? Whether you're a person who highly believes in, I'll just get term insurance and I'll invest in the difference and that's how I'm going to retire and that's how I'm going to get by, or maybe you don't believe in life insurance at all and you just believe in investing in your business and that's what's going to get you through, or whether you're an infinite banker like us, which if you're listening to this, that means you somewhat resonate with what we're talking about. And it all comes down to how we think. And that's what the infinite banking concept is. It is a way of thinking. So when the rest of the world that is uncontrollable, if you are really truly embracing the infinite banking concept into your life, you should be breathing and breathing with a lot more ease in the sense of, okay, it doesn't really matter what the rest of the world is doing because what I'm doing with the infinite banking concept is I'm creating a financial environment to where I have more financial control and I'm creating an environment where I can experience more financial tailwind to get me through the financial headwind. Financial headwind is the stuff we don't have control over, the gas prices going up because the war is going, or whatever the case may be. There's lots of different reasons for a lot of different things that kind of pull the lever on the increase of this and the decrease of that.
Right. Gas prices going up and the markets being under pressure actually hasn't really even crossed my mind. It's not something that's really been a concern of mine. I mean, if gas prices go up, well, then maybe we have to scale back, as my granny would say, the going and blowing that we do, running the roads. Maybe that has to be scaled back a little bit. But I think it's a matter of what financial philosophy have you adopted and how attentive are you to your financial situation? Are we playing offense or defense?
Kind of related to this is what we were talking about, and I was kind of fumbling around with what is that concept called again? But especially if you're invested in the marketplace and seeing as how the markets are going down right now. And I think the other thing that you were mentioning too, that Noemi was talking about, was just the sheer fact that maybe some people don't have the time to recover from a loss in the marketplace. Conceptually speaking, I think people understand that's the risk that people actually take when they're investing in the marketplace, is that they hope it's going to grow. And they hope that they're in a growth state or that they'll have more than enough. And hopefully it aligns with when they are wanting to retire or wanting to stop working, right? When the markets are down, even if it's gone down by 10% or whatever the case may be, but sometimes it can be a lot more than that. It takes time to come all the way back up to where you were. But more than anything else, it's the concept of just really understanding the loss of momentum. Is we underestimate the loss of momentum. Why is it that people who practice and embrace infinite banking have a little bit easier time breathing once you really embrace it? It's because we know that we have uninterrupted compound growth on our side, even though it has nothing to do with the marketplace.
It's really comparable to going to the gym or a weight loss journey. If you get off track and you stop going to the gym for 2 months, yeah, you might get right back to that point where you were in the gym and your fitness journey. But what did you lose? Where would you be if you never got off track? It's the same. Where would you be if the markets weren't under pressure right now? There's always going to be things out of our control, like politics, the war, the price of oil. The main question is, who's in control? Are you in control, or are we giving up that control to the market, which in my opinion is always, it's just ever changing. It's more volatile at times, but I feel completely out of control. If I put money into the market, I feel completely out of control.
And to a lot of other people, I mean, it's part of personalities, right? We all have to honor where our personality is. And the thing is like, for a lot of people, it's super exciting to invest in the marketplace. It's probably the same kind of people that love to ride on a motorbike, and they might still even risk it when it's been a little bit wet out and it's just hovering over that 0-degree mark, and it's not quite gonna ice, but it's right there. But it's like those types of personalities, I don't know what it is, but it's like it feels a lot safer for a lot of those people to do the marketplace. But then at the same time, it's no different than someone who really likes to spend money and loves the hit and that dopamine. Every single spender feels the pain of what it means to have no money to spend. As infinite bankers, we also talk about the fact that this is a marathon in our life. How do we confidently get through life and know that the money is going to be there for us when we need it? One of the things that I really love about infinite banking is the fact that it really advocates for us to look after our cash flow more often than if you were someone who were just to hand it off to a portfolio manager, or even if you're a self-managed portfolio manager. It takes a different kind of mindset and a different type of care to ensure that. What I love about it is that why is it uninterrupted compound growth? Because it's contractually guaranteed.
And something, that we always hear too is like, this is biblical, actually. I don't know what verse it is. I'm not even going to try to guess right now on the fly, but it's biblical to leave an inheritance for your kids and your kids' kids. And so if we can buy death benefit for pennies on the dollar, and we're leaving the next generation and the next generation better off than, we were left, or making sure we're doing that, I just don't understand why we wouldn't do that. One, it's biblical, and that's what I believe, but also we're able to leave them something that we know there's a contractual guarantee that we're leaving this to them. And once we train up our children in the same way, then that trickle effect starts, and we gain back that control that we've so freely handed over to the lenders.
There's so much interesting dynamics that I'm thinking about as we're really talking about this. It takes so much more effort to slow down these days, in the sense of just being able to be 100% present with the people that we're having a conversation with, because we have our cell phone. Sometimes we can be right across from someone, but then something pings on our cell phone and we're all of a sudden having a side conversation with someone else, or we're in front of someone else. You know what I mean? And I think it's a very rare thing for most individuals, let alone families, to commit to having designated time set aside to really devote to moving the needle, or making sure that they're like reacting to the things that they need to financially react to, but also be proactive in the way that we need to be proactive around our finances. And that's what I also love about the infinite banking concept, because it does force us to think pretty much generations ahead, because we put the financial instrument to back up the mindset of the infinite banking concept happens to be a financial instrument that allows us to think, okay, like this is going to impact who I leave my money to. And then when they have the money, how can it impact that next generation? So conceptually, I think a lot of us fall in love with that idea, but then it's a matter of what are we doing to ensure that actually takes place in a way that we envision it in the first place. We're not saying don't invest at all, but we're saying like it can very much impact how much money you think you have when you need it.
Yeah, because the worst thing is, and we've had these conversations with clients, is thinking that they had one amount, but in reality, they have a totally different amount. Yeah, going back to the teaching financial responsibility, you all always hear this. What they should be teaching in school is how to file taxes. What they should be teaching in school is like how to balance a checkbook, things like that. Well, guess what my kids are doing this weekend? They're filing their taxes. And they've asked me, okay, like, so I get a tax return, right? And I'm like, yeah, probably, but we have to file your taxes first. Okay. And I said, oh no, you're going to do that. I'm not doing that for you. Like, you're going to help prepare to do that. Because if I don't teach them, who's going to teach them? Young kids or young people, they think they're grown up and they know what they do. So they want to get married. They want to start these lives and they want to be adults, but they don't know the first thing about adulting. So guess who's filing their taxes this weekend, boys? Not mom.
Yes, indeed, indeed. And to take that one step further too, like even well before they hit the age where they can file their own taxes, something else that Lacy and I often talk about too is the fact that really advocating for family connection and money can be a part of that conversation and can be used as a catalyst to keep each other together. And when you do practice the infinite banking concept, it really can be a wonderful way to keep the family connected for life, through financing each other's needs through each other rather than through the bank. Also, I wanted to add a singular thought around when it comes to the marketplace, if you are investing in the marketplace, if at the very least, you're also still, if you're practicing the infinite banking concept at the heart of it, like as a foundation, and then you're investing, at least you're giving yourself the breathing room. You're still creating an environment where your money is still able to grow for you, even though you might have lost some extra money in the marketplace. That you can put yourself in a position where you can handle the loss rather than the inverse.
Yeah. And I think putting ourselves into the position where we are ready and prepared for, the gas price is going up. Okay, fine. Groceries went up. Okay, fine. You know what? I'm going to adjust my grocery list this week, or I'm going to adjust my driving this week. And it's not going to be devastating because I'm prepared to do that. Yeah, it's just all comes back to, and I think that's part of what I have learned over the past 6 years, just being your client, actually. And this is like client Lacy speaking, is like, how can we get into a place where we're being proactive instead of always reacting? And that's kind of with anything in our lives, really, like vehicle maintenance, our finances, managing our bank account, like balancing. Like, I remember being a little girl and my granny sitting at the table balancing her checkbook. And like those little things that you learn along the way. And like, not only are our boys going to file their own taxes, they're actually going to help us do ours too. Because we operate in that way where I want to prepare them the best way I can. It's okay, boys, here's some receipts. You're going to file these in this category.
It's management. It's administrative management that we all either are doing ourselves or we're hiring someone else to do, right? But either way, good on you for teaching your kids how to do that right now so that they can understand the foundation of what's needed to file those taxes. So if they do end up getting to a place in their life where they're going to hire someone else to do it, they're going to understand if the person that they're hiring is doing it correctly or not.
And Sid's going to help too. She's old enough. Reed and I work really hard to provide for our family. And so I want them to be involved in like, what does it mean to make this ship float? What does it take to make the ship float? And what can I teach you about finances that hopefully sets them up for success? I mean, they're their own person. They get to make their own choices, but I'm responsible for teaching them. And so I want to teach them, okay, the market's volatile right now. What have we done so that it doesn't affect us in a negative way? It's just all comes back to discipline. It's discipline.
I think if you can grow a garden, especially during this time. The financial instrument of the dividend paying whole life concept is like a garden. It's there for you. And especially like if prices are going up in the grocery stores, isn't it nice to have a garden to pick some fresh produce out? Not only is it probably more fulfilling to have your own food that you grew, but the fact that you have saved yourself money and ensured that you have food to eat because you grew it.
Yeah, absolutely. It goes back to the same old, like, of course we're biased, but yeah, we're here, we're on a mission, and it's to tell everybody that there's a different way. Like, you don't have to do things the way everybody else is doing them. And don't be afraid to step outside of what society is doing and do something else. Like, I heard a really good podcast last week when I was traveling. It's like most of the airplanes have Starlink now, so you can still access. So I was able to watch YouTube podcast with Gary Vaynerchuk, actually.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
He is so undistracted by what is going on around him. It's one reason why he has been so successful, because he is so undistracted with outside influence or caring what other people are doing, or basically keeping up with the Joneses type of thing. And I think that rings so true in our finances as well. If we choose infinite banking and we remain so undistracted by what most other people are doing, guess what? Slow and steady wins the race.
It's definitely a marathon, right? It just takes moment by moment to be in tune with what's going on so we can adjust just to stay on track, because we're going to have to do it for the rest of our lives.
And when we speak to most, our client base is agriculture, you know what? We have no control. Input costs have gone up. Commodities are down right now. If you are your own banker, then you are less affected by that. Right now, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say less impacted even by, you don't have to be as accountable to the snakes and dragons,
Absolutely.
while the going is not good. You know what I mean? So
yeah. And if you're a cattle producer, we're still at an all-time high with our herd size in Canada and the US. So the prediction is that cattle prices are going to stay up. Okay, so if that is the case, let's take full advantage of this opportunity that we have right here in front of us while these prices are high. Let's set ourselves up, prepare in the good times for the bad times. So it's just like a push to what can you do when these prices are up? Like, these are historically high prices. Our heifers are going to start calving at the end of the month, and it's going to be full on laser focus, all hands on deck. We need those babies alive. So prepare in the good times for those bad times, like now, like when the markets are down and commodities are down. Anyways, I could get on a soapbox, but that's the summary of the day.
Well, like anything else, what we started off with today was just talking about what's going on socially, what can we do now, and where can we go from here. Sometimes delayed gratification is a hard road to choose, which practicing the infinite banking concept, getting it started in your life, embracing it, it does take time to get the momentum going. But once it does, man, watch out. And if you really need some extra support to choose that path, when we know it's just easier to, perhaps just keep the money in the account and just leave it there and not think about changing anything. But it's all going to be hard if you stay doing what you're doing, because you're not going to be able to keep as much money as we are able to. So we are here for you. We are here to be your lighthouse, to be your cheerleaders, to make that happen.
Absolutely. Okay, guys, as always, you know what to do. If you don't have the book yet, that's where you start, because we have the paperback and audio version now. And the audio version has been a game changer for so many people. So rancherway.com is where you're going to find those. Head on over to Apple or Spotify and leave us a 5-star review. We would very much appreciate that. So until next week, bye, guys.
So glad you leaned in with us on the Winnie podcast. We truly hope you're feeling more informed and empowered to take another step towards optimizing your financial life. Right now, make sure you hit subscribe so you can keep growing and learning with us. Until next time, we wish you prosperity in every area of your life.